watch Durant press today? If you did, what your take comment as far as
Watch a press conference?
you didn't watch Durant press conference today?
No.
It's figured you would. Okay. But okay, we'll go to a totally different subject. Terrence Ross has said this morning that he would, and James talked with him about coming here and about what his role would be and things of that nature. What's the thing you felt like you had to get across? You wanted to get across in him.
I mean, I talked to him about our team, how we operate, how we thought he could fit. We talked about Coach Clifford because my recollection of him when he was playing a much bigger role was under Coach Clifford, and I've always liked guys that have been in really good programs, and he hadn't been with Jamal long enough, but I knew that some of the defense and things that we teach are a lot like Coach Clifford's program. And then I just talked to him about the way we play and how we thought he could fit, and just wanted him to, feel wanted. Obviously, we try to shoot guys straight about what their role could look like. And I explained to him exactly what that would be and the possibilities and the constraints. And, but just told him, like James did, and like our owner did, that we wanted him here and we felt like he could be an important person in this organization, not just on the floor, but the culture piece and all the stuff that we try to push every day.
One of the things after the playoffs last year, we talked about players being able to get a buck and how important that is in the postseason. And you look at the loss, that's been one of the hope that he can go get a buck. How important is that element going to be with this business?
Well, I think any team, no matter whether it's the playoffs or regular season, your team has more dimensions on that side of the floor when guys are able to create shots or finish shots. And, Terrence is a guy that can do both. It's twofold in the way that I look at it, because it allows you to set your defense when you have guys that can score. And but it's the way that he does it. He's been a finisher. And ATOs, finishing at the rim, shooting threes, using his athleticism. And, it's obviously going to be a process, but we feel like he'll fit into the way we play well. And we just got to put him in positions to help him succeed.
Awesome. Nice mid-range game. You've got a lot of guys in that category that have never shied away from that shot. How much more difficult does that make a team to guard in the playoffs when defenses are, focused on taking away threes?
I hope so. I mean, that's always the goal, is to allow guys to play within their strengths. I just go back to my conversation with Javon Carter when we first got him. He was the first one to ask me about the mid-range shot, and he was almost terrified to ask me. And I was like, if you can shoot it and make it, like, why not? And that's how we've operated here. We want guys to flow in their strengths, if you will. And like I said, if guys can make that shot, it allows you to set your defense.
The last couple of years before this point, you had a benefit of line ability, especially with your starters, and that obviously hasn't been the case this year, even before the trade. What do you feel like you've learned the most from the team, based on the fact that so many important pieces of your group are either not here now or have missed a lot of time?
I think to have an open mind about growth, not just for the players, but for us as a staff, and in particular myself. You learn a lot about different ways to coach when you have a lot of guys out, and it forces you to put guys in certain situations that they hadn't been in before, and that that stresses you, and you grow in that stress. And so I've learned to have a a more open mind about certain situations with players because we were forced to be in those situations. And then you learn about players, what they can and can't do. You learn how to develop players differently. You know, I've never been a part of developing a guy like Mikel the way that it happened this year. That's never happened in my coaching career. And so we learned that we could do it. And we're seeing it also with Torrey and J.O. You know, they're developing in different ways. And D. Lee has taken on a bigger role. But we were forced into that situation. It wasn't anything that I thought last summer, like we're going to do this, this, and this. We had no clue. We were forced into it and we had to embrace it. So it's forced me to have an open mind.
Do you have any thoughts on the injuries and everything about if you were to go to say a 7-2 or 7-6 game season?
Yeah. I don't. I've seen the comments about it. I'm good either way. I think it's what we've always done, but that doesn't mean we have to continue it. But if we do, I'm okay with it. I do worry about the historical effects, you know, how it affects guys who did play in 82 games and, you know, the records could be affected and that kind of thing, but it's not a major concern for me. I don't think I think that deeply about the game, you know, but I've heard other guys talk about the need for it. I think it just goes back to the fact that unfortunately you still have injuries and we've been affected by it more than most. And I think one of the first things many think about is the length of the season, but it's always been a long season. That's the beauty of our game, is to see who can get to the end and be the last team standing after all the stress and back-to-backs and travel and all that. So I understand both sides of it, but I certainly don't have a solution.
I wanted to ask you about Montrose pitching. That's where Kevin went. That's where Terrence went and pitched as well. You got 3 guys from that area, and I know you were ish in that area, like an hour out. Is that program something you were familiar with back in the day?
I didn't even know what it was. You know what I mean? I'm from inner city Potomac High School. You know, I didn't even know what prep schools were. You know, I just thought of prep as like preppy. To be straight, I really did. I didn't know what a prep school was until I got older. And then I realized that it was a bit of a gateway to whatever. And so I heard about that. And when I was coming up, I had no clue. I mean, DeMatha was the school for us and Morgan Wooten was an icon. So that was all I knew about private schools. And I knew I couldn't go because my mother couldn't afford it. And then Flint Hill Prep came. And we played them when I was in high school. And I didn't know that high school guys had beards. You know, that's when I realized prep meant older. You know what I mean? So that was my introduction to prep. And so I heard the connection with those guys and I just thought it was coincidental. But from my history, I had no clue what that meant when I was in high school.
What's it like from your region, I guess?
Yeah, no, we're from the same county, Kevin and I, and his family went to my high school. And so I've been connected to him in that regard. I mean, since we were, you know, since I was a baby and he was a baby. So it's pretty cool to have someone here that understands the grind of how we had to grow up. I understand it for him. He understands it for me and how many obstacles there are there to not get out, because I think that's a bad way to put it, but to have a bit of success. And what he's done for the community back home is unmatched. And when you think about the players from PG County, I mean, you're going back to Lynn Bias and Dantley and many more, he's the best. And to watch him grow and then be with him in OKC, USA basketball, now have a chance to coach him, I think it's pretty cool, you know, because I do understand how he came up and again, the obstacles that are there in PG County.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.